Good evening, students. Welcome back to our online class once again. In this semester, we are starting with relativity chapter. In that chapter, we discuss about a Newtonian relativity or Galilean relativity, then postulates of special theory of relativity, Galilean transformation, Lorentz transformation, and in last lecture we discuss about the time dilation phenomena, how time get affected when any object or any event can occur, that event or that object having speed comparable with the velocity of light, then the time dilation phenomena can be happen, as we discussed in last lecture. Now today we are going to discuss about the length contraction. Okay, actually in Newtonian mechanics deals with the motions of bodies traveling at a velocities that are very much less than the velocity of light, as we know. That's why we can use all classical laws or all that motion obeys Newton's laws of motion. According to it, the three fundamental concepts of physics, that is space, time and mass, are all absolute and invariant. But in last lecture we understand how time get variant if that object or that frame of reference moves with the velocity of light, comparable with the velocity of light. Similarly, a concept of space is there, or in that case Newton's assume that the space is absolute and exists in itself without relation to anything external and remains unaffected under all circumstances. This means to say that the length of an object is independent of the conditions under which it is measured, such as the motion of the object or experiment. It means what? According to classical mechanics, length does not contract, it remains unaffected under all circumstances. But if a frame of reference moves with the velocity of light or comparable with the velocity of light, then length get contracted. How that length get contracted, that we have to discuss and we have to prove by using a special theory of relativity. Length contraction. Length contraction is the phenomena that a moving object's length is measured to be shorter than its proper length, which is the length as measured in the object's own rest frame. It is also known as Lorentz contraction and usually only noticeable at a substantial fractions of the speed of light. Length contraction is only in the direction in which the body is traveling. Let us suppose a body is moving along x direction only, that length get contracted along x direction only. There is no change in its dimension along y as well as z. Change in dimension along x direction only, in which that body or that object is in motion. For standard object, this effect is negligible at everyday speeds and can be ignored for all regular purposes, only becoming significant as the object approaches the speed of light relative to the observer. Then and then only the length contraction can occur. The length of any object in moving frame will appear foreshortened in the direction of motion or contracted. The amount of contraction can be calculated from the Lorentz transformation. The length is maximum in the frame in which object is at rest. If one object, or let us consider a two frame of references, one is S frame and another is S prime. One is S and another is S prime. S prime frame moves along positive x direction with a constant velocity v. Consider two coordinate system x, y, z with respect to S prime, x prime, y prime and z prime with respect to S prime. Both are coincide at a time t is equal to 0. Initially at t is equal to 0, both frame of references lies at a same point, means origin O of S prime and origin O prime of S prime frame coincide with each others. S prime is moving with a uniform relative speed v with respect to the S in the positive x direction. Imagine a rod AB at rest relative to S prime because it present in a S prime frame. Let x1 prime and x2 prime be the coordinates of the ends of that rod at any instant of time in S prime. Then L naught is equal to x2 prime minus x1 prime is measured in the moving reference, or since the rod is at rest in frame S prime. Similarly, x1 and x2 be the coordinates of the end of the rod at the same instant of time in S. Then length measured with respect to the S frame is L is equal to x2 minus x1. Now, according to Lorentz transformation equation, x prime is equal to x minus vt by square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Now, first my aim is to find out x2 prime. x2 prime is equal to x2 minus vt by square root of 1 minus v square by c square, and x1 prime is equal to x1 minus vt by square root of 1 minus v square by c square. If we substitute the value of x2 prime and x1 prime in L0 equation, L0 is equal to x2 prime minus x1 prime. If we substitute that value, then we will get L0 is equal to x2 prime minus x1 prime is equal to x2 minus vt2 minus x1 plus vt1 square root of 1 minus v square by c square. But since the two measurements made in the fixed frame and made simultaneous in that frame, therefore T2 is equal to T1. That's why minus Vt and plus Vt get cancelled. Finally, we will get x2 minus x1 divided by square root of 1 minus v square by c square. As we know, x2 minus x1 is nothing but length with respect to S frame, L by square root of 1 minus v square by c square. 1 by square root of 1 by square root of 1 minus v square by c square is nothing but a gamma. Therefore, L is equal to L naught times square root of 1 minus v square by c square, or L is equal to L naught by gamma, which is nothing but a length contraction, and L naught is the proper length. From this equation, we see that L is always less than L naught, means proper length is always greater than the length contracted. Therefore, to the observer in S, it would appear that the length of the rod has contracted by the factor of square root of 1 minus v square by c square. The proper length of an object is the length determined by an observer at a rest with respect to the object. In the above case, L0 is the proper length. The shortening or the contraction in the length of an object along its direction of motion is known as Lorentz contraction. There is no contraction in a direction perpendicular to the direction of motion, means there is no variation along y, z, y prime and z prime. Only variation occurs along x, x prime. The contraction become appreciable only when v is equal to c. If v is equal to c, in that case contraction is appreciable. How? That we have to discuss in next slide. The contraction is reciprocal, that is, if two identical rods are at a rest, one in S and the other in S prime, each of the observer finds that the other is shorter than the rod of his own system. Is nothing but the contraction is reciprocal. The same example can found in this. One observer is moving in a spaceship and another is stationary. The same rod is kept with moving observer and stationary observer. Stationary observer found that the length is shortened and clock is moving slowly. For the observer which is in moving frame, the only way observers in motion relative to each other can measure a single light ray to travel the same distance in the same amount of time relative to their own reference frame, as we see in this example. Next, if our object is moving along positive x direction, that is why the variation or the contraction is along x only. There is no variation along y. If we see the both A and B figure, in which y is same, but there is a variation or there is contraction along x direction only, because our object is moving along positive x direction with a constant velocity v. If v is equal to c, if v is equal to c, then velocity of that moving frame is equal to the velocity of light. In that case, the contraction become appreciable. Means what? For example, a body which appear to be spherical to an observer at a rest relative to it will appear to be an oblate or disc like if that object moves with the velocity of light. Similarly, if we consider a square or a circle, in a one appear to observer, in other to be rectangle or ellipsoid for another observer. Same case. If we see if velocity of frame increases, the shape of this sphere get changed. Finally, or for our simplicity, if we consider one bowler is throwing a ball with a speed of light, then the length of that the dimension of that ball get contracted, the spherical ball become a disc like structure. Okay. Now another example, if you see you are eating a burger at the Interstellar Cafe in outer space, your spaceship is parked outside. A speeder zoom by an identical ship at half the speed of light. From your perspective, their ship look. Then which option is correct? Longer than your ship, shorter than your ship, exactly the same as your ship. As we know, the factor square root of 1 minus v square by c square always less than 1. Always less than 1 means what? length get contracted by an amount or by an factor of gamma. That's why shorter than your shape, because the identical shape moves with this half of the speed of light. That's why it gets shortened, because according to length contraction, L is equal to L naught square root of 1 minus v square by c square. L naught is the speeder's reference frame and L is yours reference frame. That's why length get contracted. Now comparison, time dilation and length contraction. If t0 time in reference frame in which two events occurs at the same place is called as a proper time. That is, if event is ticking, then t0 is the reference frame of the clock, even if the clock is in moving spaceship. That is, delta t0 is equal to delta t into square root of 1 minus v square by c square, as we discussed in previous lecture. Delta t is always greater than delta t0. Time seems longer from outside. It means time get dilates. Length in rest frames as object is nothing but a proper length. Length of the object when you don't think it's moving. L is equal to L naught square root of 1 minus v square by c square. This is the main difference between the time dilation phenomena and length contraction phenomena. Time get dilates. It moves slower if we are moving with a speed of light, and length get contracted if we move with the velocity of light. This is the main difference between the or comparison between time dilation and length contraction. Okay, students, if you have any doubt about this length contraction phenomena, time dilation phenomena, or any up to this lecture, you can ask me at any time. Okay, thank you. Remaining part of this chapter we will see in next lecture.